Hello, this is Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to show you a really quick cute card with this Simple Stories Magical Birthday Collection that I got a number of pieces from. I got the 12 by 12 collection kit, which comes with the cardstock and also the sticker page. And then also the 6 by 8 paper pad, which is really cute, and a lot of just smaller versions or on a smaller scale of the 12 by 12 pieces as well. So I'm just flipping through those here. And then that teal sprinkle page I just passed by, I'm going to be using on this card because I really liked that one. So I'm just going back to find it. I believe there's two of all of them. So I grabbed this one out. And I'm also going to be using some new slimline dies from Cat Scrappiness that I got. That is the stamp set. I won't be using that, but hopefully I'll use that in future videos. And then I got the enamel dots from the set and also these bits and pieces, which I'll be using on the card. So it's going to be a super simple, no stamping card using these bits and pieces. And I'm going to show you here, if you want to pause to look at that for a little bit longer, you can see all the pieces that come in it. I love that they do that, so you don't have to just be surprised. You can see everything that's in these types of cardstock piece sets. And I'm picking out things I think are going to go good together, and this is actually what I end up with. I know I didn't go through the whole pile, but I really liked what kind of caught my eye. And also that unicorn cake I'll be using on another card in the future because I really like that. So I'm going to go through those bits and pieces and see which pieces go really well together. I looked at those pink balloons, but I'm not going to use those because they look too much like the cake, and these balloons that I chose stand out a lot better. So what I'm going to do is I do pull these out and kind of look through them with you. They're just going to be the 6 by 8 pad on a bigger scale. I was looking through to see if I wanted to use the bigger scale. You can see the smaller on the left. I can't remember if I used the bigger one or the smaller one. I think I used the bigger one because I'm going to cut a slimline die background, and I thought about using the pink balloons as well, but I'm just going to go with a white card base and then this background here. And I didn't want to make the card too complicated. So these are the, I'm not sure of the name of them, but Cat Scrappiness made their own slimline dies. So they're probably something like stitched, scalloped, whatever. And I have probably another set or two of these from other brands, but I'm just loving these slimline dies and I can't get enough of them. So I'm cutting a piece of white cardstock for the card base. And basically I measured the die in my paper trimmer. Here I'm going to score it in the wrong spot. I'll set that aside for scrap paper for stamping. I'm going to have to get another piece. And I'm scoring it at 3.5, so it's going to be 3.5 on the short side. And then I think it's 8.5. I thought it was a whole, yeah, I think it's the width of a normal piece of cardstock. So 8.5 by 3.5, or 3.5 by 4.25, if it's 8.5. So I did that. I intentionally just made it a little bit bigger than this die that I'm cutting out now. So I'm going to cut this slimline die out of this really cute teal confetti cardstock. And then I want to lift that up on the white base. And then I'm just going to be putting these little die cut pieces, the unicorn and the cake and the balloons and everything, onto the blue because that does look good. I was thinking of maybe like a white on patterned on white situation. But they really stood out on the teal background, so I want to stick with that. And then I'm going to cut this into strips so I can fill in the rest of this and fully support that on the background because I don't want it to sag anywhere. So I'll usually end up using a lot of foam tape just so I make sure I don't have any areas where it's going to sag or you can really tell there's different spots with foam tape under it, if that makes sense. You can kind of tell the indentations on a card, especially if you press hard enough when you're pushing it down like this. You can kind of see where the foam tape is. And then this, just because of how I had to score it and fold it, it kind of some of the backside of the card was coming through, so I just trimmed that off. And then I'm just kind of laying out the pieces where I think I want them. I want to make sure the balloons and the Make-A-Wish kind of stay somewhat within the blue confetti background. And then the cake on the left. So in the order I had laid them out before. And then I'm just going to glue these straight down. I do glue down the unicorn and the balloons and the cake, and then I lift up the Make-A-Wish just to kind of get it away from the balloons. I don't want to, that's kind of just like a design thing. You don't want to stick this down and then stick the Make-A-Wish on top of it. It could get like a little lumpy, if that makes sense. You could kind of see it or feel it. And so I'm going to lift that up so that it also shows a little bit of dimension. I don't want the whole front of the card to be flat. This does mean that it's up on essentially 2 layers of foam tape. The whole card, we have the foam tape under the blue scalloped slimline piece and then this Make-A-Wish. But if you wanted to mail it, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. You can always just add postage to things. I know it's kind of expensive and it can get pricey, but you can just add extra postage to things and the post office will mail it. They just want to be paid for their time, basically, that they spend mailing all your cards. So if I'm ever worried about something, I just add extra stamps, but I buy stamps all the time because they're cute. So here I'm just picking different colored enamel dots, and I'm just going to use my tweezers to kind of peel them up off of the sheet and place them down as well. And I thought the teal would go really good on the teal background, just give it a little bit of shine. And I love these gold ones. I need to find somewhere a whole sheet of these gold enamel dots. I love them. And then I think I add one more somewhere. So those kind of just give it something to pop a little on the front. I thought about trying to find other pieces, but all the other pieces in the stack were too big, so I'm going to be using those on their own card. And I really did like how this star banner thing looked, but I was like, it just doesn't seem right that it's covering up the balloons. It still looked really good to me, but I couldn't bring myself to stick it down. I suppose I could have lifted them up on foam tape, but I didn't want to cover up the balloons. I don't know. So I decided to grab a couple pieces instead. And instead of like stamping on the inside of the card, I mean, I could also stamp like a happy birthday wish. But I wanted to put a couple of these cardstock pieces on the inside instead, but still leave enough room to write like a message or stamp another birthday sentiment. So I decided to put those in the upper left and the bottom right. And that will complete the card. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.